right, thank you. I am Chief Dr. Thomas Attah, a native of Egbetwa in Ososo, Kukwedo local government area of Edo State. Married with children and also a Christian. Currently within the fintech space in Nigeria, and I'm resident in Lagos, but also have a periodic and regular visits to Edo State. I think that's basically a summary of who I am. I'm a lover of my people, and I try to connect with the youth in my community. Thank you. I think for me, politics is all about being able to make impact. And the remote, I would say, impact we've had in politics is our coming together as a team to agitate for an Eastern Central governorship, for Eastern Central governor. You will recall that towards the build-up to the last gubernatorial election in Edo State, there were a lot of factors who were beginning to do things that some of us felt were just not making sense. And we were able to come together and say, you know what? We got to come together, agitate, and ensure that we have an Eastern man at the helm of affair. Because they don't know have had it, those have had it twice. Central has never had it before. And so I would say my major impact so far is that we're able to come together, not just as an individual, but as a group. We're able to lobby around the clock, agitate, work with relevant stakeholders to ensure that today we have an Eastern man in government. For me, nothing much. Nothing has been so interesting than having that happen, because I'm one person that do not appreciate injustice. As you know, I'm qualified to also to contest for the president of Nigeria. But having said that, I think that for me, vying for a political position it should be born out of your inner desire to be able to help and support, help and promote the welfare of your people. And so for me, it's going to be about vying for a position that will give me the enablement, but also the opportunity to be able to do things that will have implication for bottom line as regard the welfare of our people. I think that will be the driving force if I will be running for a political position in the nearest future. I would say they should not be despair. They should keep on fighting, but also try as much as they can to add value to whatever skills that they find themselves acquiring. Our youth should be able to come together as a group to be able to ask critical questions. I think one of the reasons you see the society, deviating and going the way it is going today is because the youth are no longer asking those critical questions youth used to ask in the past. I want to appeal to our youth to come together and then reason together as a group, as a body, and then begin to demand leadership. Because if our youth come together to demand leadership, some of the shenanigans we see in government will give way. I think they should not be despair. They should brush up themselves, come together, and not just be any sort of follower, but followers that are demanding responsibilities from their leaders. Thank you. If you are familiar with the activities of Victory Group for Success in the last gubernatorial election in Edo State, you will know that it is a group that people have been lobbying to identify with. And so if the group, in her wisdom, has decided to, come asking me to be their patron, I think it's only logical that you accept such an opportunity to be able to support the good work they are doing. Don't forget that elections are just by the corner. Our parties, all political parties are begin to jostle they're jostling around looking for a good structure to be able to ask for votes from the people. And knowing quite well that in Edo, you have a very enlightened electorate. You will discover that the opportunity that Victory Group is offering me is an opportunity that I will gladly, accept. Not just for the fun of accepting it, but also to see how I can add value to whatever they will be doing going forward, and ensure that whosoever that the group is throwing their weight behind becomes the new bride of Edo politics, and by the grace of God shall emerge. And as we begin to progress towards 2027 election, the group will be more energized, but this time around more engaging, to ensuring that the mission, vision, and objective of the group is achieved. Say, in the course of looking for candidates to feed for election, feed people with electoral value, feed credible hands, so that at the end of the day it becomes much easier for you. And to party faithfuls, I will advise that in the course of politicking, do not bring in violence. You do not have to sacrifice any aspect of your welfare or your well-being, your life, in the name of party loyalty or political loyalty. Because sometimes when you watch the way our gladiators play, you may be a political party faithful, supporting a particular candidate, another person for good friends. So I would advise that we should play politics without bitterness, but also, like I said earlier on when we're talking about general comment to the youth, party faithful should begin to demand leadership from our elected officials. And we must get one thing clear. The moment we begin to play politics of party, and then when people are not doing the right thing, then things begin to deteriorate. Party faithful have a critical role to play, so that at the end of the day, the populace becomes better off for it. I will want to suggest that as party faithfuls, we must begin to ask our candidates, those vying for political position, what are your programs? What are your manifesto? What are your plans? Because what we are beginning to see in recent times is that people come to politics without even having any goal and objective of what they want to do. They don't even have a clear-cut vision of what they want to do for their people. And so the party faithful should begin to ask questions. What are your experiences? What are your pedigree? That way we'll be able to filter the wheat from the chaff. And at the end of the day, you discover that within a short period of time, we'll be able to produce credible electoral process that will attract even more sincere but also quality leaders that will be able to turn around the fortune of not just Edo State, but Nigeria at large. My message for people in Edo North is to be calm. There seems to be a lot of agitation of recent. You begin to see people asking some questions, and people should be calm. But my message for Edo North is that as leaders of Edo North, we must come together to ensure that there is fairness, there's equity, and there's justice. Because it is when you do not have that fairness, you do not have equity, you do not have justice, that you begin to bring agitation. We need to come together as a unified group, and then see how we can think of developing the region. The place is not as developed as many people begin to assume. Take a look at the whole of Akoko Edo, Onwa, and even many parts of Esako. They don't have good roads. There are no roads. There's no water. And so I think we need to come together as a people, ask ourselves, what are our needs? How are we going to achieve or attract attract the government attention to our problems so that they get it solved for us? And then for areas and communities that are having mineral resources, they need to be very careful in the manner with which they allow investors come into those communities and destroy their habitats. We need to be guided. We need to come together as a body, as a group, so that when we look back into the next 5-10 years, we say, look, Edo North has indeed progressed. If we do not get that right, I'm worried that in the very nearest future here, people will begin to ask questions of this generation of leaders, what were they able to achieve for the people of Edo North. But if we're able to come together and see ourselves as one indivisible entity with a common problem and a clear roadmap on how to solving this problem, then I think we're good. So for me, come together, bitterness aside, and then strive to resolve all the problems we have in our respective communities in Edo North. For us also, I would say, also as a community, we are a lover of people, and if there's one thing I'm always proud of is to be an indigenous of Ososo, and Igbitwa precisely. I think that also the people of Ososo are very organized set of people. They are beginning to see things from a very pragmatic perspective, unlike what used to happen in the past. And I believe that as a community, we are in the right track, and God's willing, we'll be able to, become the new bride of not just Akoko Edo or Edo North, but also to the entire Edo State at large.